All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakahakudash. Double honors to the Apostle Knows Great Millstone, peace, and blessing to you, brothers, pushing this truth throughout the four winds. This video is going to be entitled A Bit of Understanding Gentiles. Um, this is always a hot topic when it comes to everybody believing salvation is for themselves, meaning the heathens and other nations. But let's just dive into this and see if we can get a little better clarification. Like a lot of the elders and brothers speak on these things, and just through the Spirit, I pray this is edifying, to be a little bit of more light shed on whoever may receive it. Okay. It's Ezekiel 37. It says, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh Bashim Yahushua when I have opened your graves. So off the jump, this right here, this metaphor is letting you know that somebody, whoever it may be for now, are spiritually dead. Okay? Say, when I open your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your grave. So now somebody is being made alive. Physically? Oh, it's spiritually. So we know someone is wandering around on this planet and they've lost their way. It says, and shall put my spirit in you. Notice he said my people. Okay? So, straight off the rip, we have my people. I am the Lord. My people. I brought you out of your graves and put my spirit in you. So obviously, somebody was dead in the spirit, and it was his own people. And he brought them out of their graves and woke them up. And shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. So now, it's no different from when Adam was created. When the Lord says he made him a living spirit, what does that mean? That was the spirit of the Father in him. It was other people around already. He just made him alive. He made him to understand. Okay? So just like Adam, when he ate of the forbidden fruit, which is following the customs of the heathens, he died. Okay? Just like us. We're mentally dead and spiritually dead. But he's saying right here, I'm going to make you alive again with my spirit that I'm going to put in you. All right? It says, and shall place you in your own land, then shall ye know that I am Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. I, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, have spoken it. So this was prophesied and performed it, saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So this is way back in Ezekiel's days. All these things are playing, and most of them played out. The word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua came unto me, saying, so he has that spirit on him, and he's telling what was said. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick, and write upon it for Judah and the children of Israel, his companions. So why are they separated? Why is it two different people? Because the northern and southern kingdom split, going off into captivity, following idols, and they will become dead spiritually. So it had to be a great awakening. So he's saying, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph and the stick of Ephraim. and for all the house of Israel his companions, and join them one to another unto one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. What does this mean? One stick. Okay? They were going to be brought together in a union through this spirit that's going to make them once again in the body of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to where they would understand who they were and they would come together. That's why you see this great gathering throughout the four corners of men of all colors. And there's nothing to do with color. You know what I'm saying? It's of that spirit. Okay? Like-minded men who the spirit has been put upon. All right? It says, and they shall become one in thine hand. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not shew us what thou meanest by this? So now it's some understanding. What thou show what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of his fellows, and put them even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. So the Lord is controlling all of these. You see Israelites throughout the four winds. That spirit is on certain men, and they're coming together, and they're understanding, you're not my enemy. We know who the enemy is now. All this understanding comes from the spirit. So when we once became Gentiles, and it's going to speak on that, we hated our brothers. You know what I'm saying? We hated them. Okay? It says, and I will put with him, even one with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. 20. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, let me see. Thus said Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. So where did they learn these? Whether we learned these traditions that made us heathens when we were scattered amongst the Gentiles. So we became as they are. Think about it. We became Gentiles under a lot of the part through captivity. Okay, when someone conquers you, you follow and pick up on their ways. And it gets to the point to where you're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You're comfortable in their ways. Just look at America. Sodom and Egypt. What happens? We're just taking up on, our people are just taking up on these ways, and they're running with it. No order, just running loose. Who's the worst of it? Our own people. It's nothing new under the sun. So they're in a Gentile mind state. Okay? It says, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations. You see that? So when Yahweh Shai died, and is going to go into that, before he died, we were two different nations of people. Northern and Southern Kingdom. Okay? But after this great awakening, we became one. Because the ones that he chose understand now. Okay? It says, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. What do you see now when these Israelites are preaching? Just go through any camp. You're going to see that speckled bird. All shades of Israel. How did that happen? You can't tell me the spirit didn't fall in these men and get them out of a Gentile mind state. Some men love eating certain foods. How did they just stop and say, I'm not going to eat that no more? How do they say, I'm going to turn from all my wicked ways and just follow something if it hadn't have been divine intervention from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua? How? And to maintain that spirit through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to where they constantly do it, and most men have been doing it for years now. It's not nothing self-willed. That Gentile mind frame, that spirit got us out of that Gentile mind frame. And it was prophesied that this would happen to the northern and southern kingdom. And you're seeing it. Okay? It says, neither shall they defile themselves anymore with idols. Where do you get idols from? Where do you get Christmas from? Halloween, Thanksgiving, false images. All of those things fall into idol worship. Okay? And our people have stumbled over that head first. That's why these Gentiles are and you know what I'm saying, are our people. But he said, I'm going to open your graves. That's why you have a number of men. You may have a big family and one of those men actually believe in the truth. You see what I'm saying? One of those men believe in the truth. So that grave was opened. And he gets it. Okay? He's out of that Gentile mind frame. Okay? It says, nor with their detestable things. Whose detestable things? The other nations. We're not going to be fallen and defiled under those nations that had us believing in Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, so on and so forth. Okay? Nor with any of their transgressions. Notice it's saying there. So obviously these people who had that spirit had to been following someone that had them going wrong. Whose leadership are we under right now? Is it not Esau? So only the spirit got us up out of this thing. Okay, call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for that. Okay? It says, nor with any of their transgressions. So the ways that these men were following that made them Gentiles were actually going against the scriptures. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places. So without it, you know what I'm saying, throughout the four winds, the four corners of the earth, wherever these men and these graves and that spirit went to wake them up, they're up. And they're not transgressing anymore. They were saved. They will be, he said, but I will save them out of their dwelling places. So where we were comfortable doing Christmas and Thanksgiving and things of that nature, we were saved out of that. That's why we don't do those things no more. Okay? It says, wherein they have sinned and will cleanse them and will cleanse them, so shall they be my people, and I will be their power. So what we have is a cleansing through that spirit. Okay? Through that spirit that the Lord put on these men to wake up. We're good now. We just have to maintain that spirit and keep everything moving the way the spirit guides us. Okay? Now we find in the book of Acts, it gets heavy on the Gentiles and things of that nature. This is Acts 9 and 13. But keep in mind, the book of Acts, all these things started happening the day of Pentecost. You know, you got these men from all over who were in a Gentile mind state, and the spirit fell on them coming from all nations. So this great awakening, when these men were in the wrong mind frame, the Lord put his spirit up on those men that came together. Okay? They came together and he put that spirit on all these men and they woke up. But it was chosen men. Okay? It says, then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints in Jerusalem. And this is Saul, who we know as Paul today. So what made Paul or Saul turn from, and when you read and understand saw the things he did, he would study Israel. Because if they looked a certain way, you one of those Israelites. Boom. Looking for going to the priest and seeing exactly how they look and their mannerism. How do they maneuver? So when I see him, I can identify him, and he was hardcore with it. So what would turn this man to being one of the most well-known men in the scriptures? See how the Lord used him? Okay? They were scared of him. But now the Lord took him and said, I'm going to use him. He was in a Gentile mind state. Okay? He was in a Gentile mind state. So if Paul came for the Gentiles as if it was the other nations, why don't we see anything concerning the Gentiles when it came to him going against Israel? Everything with him was like basically for, I'm going to go against these people. And when he got converted, when the Spirit came into him, how is it that we don't see him being in a mind frame of going to every other nation outside of Israel? And it's going to speak on it. It says, and here he hath authority from the chief priests to bind all that call on thy name. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me. After killing and, you know what I'm saying, being what he was to Israel, he's a chosen man of the Lord. Okay? To bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. Now, I brought this verse out because what we have to understand was the prophecy here in Ezekiel. Salakia. The prophecy here in Ezekiel is being fulfilled now. And this is the two sticks being made one. Okay? This is the two sticks being made one. When these Gentiles, these men of a different mind frame, were actually made to understand what's really going on. Because, watch, it says, to bear thy name before the Gentiles. These are men who knew exactly not who they were. But it had the men, also the children of Israel, who knew who they were. So these people that was lost, this is those two sticks being put together back as one. Okay? And all of these things, you can see them really going in the book of Acts. 10, it says, and he said unto them, ye know that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one another of another nation. Now, did we not read back in Ezekiel where it said 22, and I will make them one nation? Who is it speaking on? The northern and southern kingdom. Okay? What had to happen for these two sticks to be made one? Yahweh Shai had to die. And we're going to get that. But it says, I'm going to start over on 28. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But the Most High has shewed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Now watch this. And the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of the Most High. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contended with him. Why did they contend with him? Because it was this new thing now that the Gentiles could get salvation. But it wasn't the Gentiles as in the other nations. It was people that was like your common Israelites that were poor, that really wasn't supposed to get it. You know what I'm saying? Because they were considered outcasts. They weren't considered to be the true men of the Lord as we see. You know what I'm saying? It was just like these men, they're not worthy of this, because when you go back to the history, they forsook Yahweh Shem Yahshai and followed idols and things of that nation. Of other nations. They took up on the customs of the other nations, but it was prophesied that a time would come when Yahweh Shai would die and those two nations would become one. Okay? It says, and that's why he said, let me see, I think it says it in this right here, 11:7. It says, and I heard a voice saying unto me, arise, Peter, slay and eat. But I said, no, not so, Lord, for nothing common or unclean hath at any time entered into thy mouth. But the voice answered me again from heaven, saying, what the Most High hath cleansed. So when Yahushua died and those graves were open to those certain men, their spirit was cleansed and they were no longer defiled as being Gentiles. Okay? That's why I said with the Most High, what the Most High hath cleansed, that call not thou common. So these weren't regular men anymore. Okay? They were not regular men anymore. They had the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai on them. Okay? Now, Acts 11:11. And behold, immediately there were 3 men already come unto the house where I was, sent from Caesarea unto me. And the Spirit bade me go with the men. Okay, so he followed these men. Okay, he's telling what happened. But these 3 men was like, it wasn't common to be seen with these men because they weren't Israel as per se. Okay, so it says, nothing doubting. Moreover, these 6 brethren accompanied me, and we entered into the man's house, and he shewed us how he had seen an angel in his house, which stood and said unto him, send me to Joppa, and call for Simon, whose surname is Peter, who shall tell these words, whereby thou and thy house shall be saved. Okay? And as I began to speak, the Holy Spirit fell upon them as on us at the beginning. So we once all were Gentiles. Okay? We once all were Gentiles. But when that spirit that was prophesied, when those graves opened to those Gentiles, there would no longer be Gentiles and follow idols and follow things amongst these other nations. Okay? Oh, Salakia. Okay, it says, let's see. It says, 11:11. And behold, immediately there were 3 men. Okay, moreover, 15. It says, and I began to speak, and the Holy Spirit fell on them as on us at the beginning. Now check out this in Ephesians. But now in Hamashiach, Yahushai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Hamashiach. So once upon a time you were far off because you fell against and amongst idols. But through the blood, when you were Gentiles, I pulled you back in. Because when those graves opened, certain men would get it. That blood saved us. Okay? It says, for he is our peace and hath made both one. Made what? What one? Those two nations that fell into a Gentile mind state through captivity, believing and following the customs of the other nations. When Yahushua died, that blood put us back together and made us one. That's why it says, for he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us. So it's when you see brothers now, you have no more Gentile mind state to where we hate each other as northern and southern kingdom. Now we're on the highways and hedges preaching together. You'll see it in all camps. You know what I'm saying? Whether they get along or not or whatever, but this is what you see. Okay? Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances. So they're going back to the original. For to make in himself of twain one new man. So this body, in this spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, when it reached, you would have the body of the nation of Israel that became one. There's no two men walking around now. It's one body. So making peace, and that he might reconcile both unto the Most High in one body by the cross. So when he died, the southern and the northern kingdom, that was their wake-up call. They were once dead. He once died. He rose. They rose through his spirit from being out of a Gentile mind state. Okay? Not being a Gentile as per se the other nations, but following their ways and not knowing better. That's why you have men today that were in a Gentile mind frame wouldn't walk near no pork. You know what I'm saying? It's not nothing they're doing in their own will. That spirit is there. You can't pay a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushua to touch no pork and eat it. You couldn't do it. It's no way. You know why? Because the spirit will not let it happen. It's not of our own will. Okay? It says, and that he might reconcile both unto the Most High in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. So when that spirit fell, after he died and arose, it went to certain men. Now they're like-minded. Oh, wait, hold on. We can't do this? This is how we're supposed to be living? We're Israel? So you see the great awakening throughout the four winds. This is like so divine intervention. It makes no sense, man. People can't understand it, but this is reality. We're not in a Gentile mind state no more. Okay? It says, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were nigh. For through him we both have access to one spirit unto the Father. And that's that comforter. That one spirit, that's that comforter. We get it now. We're no longer Gentiles in our minds and in our flesh. Okay? Because that spirit that's in us, and as long as it resides in us, we're walking in that body of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay, I hope this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Till next time, shalom.